Kids, where are you? It's time for all the art to tell stories.
In a mystical forest nestled within the realm of nature and spirit, there lived a protector known as Boris. Boris was a dedicated ranger who spent his days ensuring the safety of the forest and its inhabitants. He was known for his bravery and kindness, having saved countless animals and tended to the flora with a tender care that was almost magical. But Boris harbored a secret. Hidden deep within his heart was a mystical bond with an ancient bear spirit. This connection allowed him to awaken powerful abilities, yet it also posed a perilous risk of losing himself to the formidable might of the bear spirit emerging forth within him. The final battle approached, a showdown against the dark forces that threatened to engulf the entire realm in shadow and despair. Boris found himself amidst towering trees and rustling leaves, preparing alongside his companions for the challenge that lay ahead. As the battle raged on, the darkness swelled, and Boris felt the bear spirit's presence growing stronger, overtaking him with its primal energy. His mind began to blur, caught between the surge of power and his essence fading away. In this pivotal moment, Boris stood at the brink. He could feel the sensation of fur covering his skin and his senses sharpening into those of the mighty bear. Yet, something in him resisted the complete transformation. Flashes of his memories broke through the haze, images of the forest streams glimmering under the sunlight, the sound of birds singing as the dawn broke, the warmth of a small deer nuzzling against his leg after being freed from a trap. These recollections tugged at his soul like anchors, anchoring him to the core of his humanity. He saw the faces of those he had saved, the frightened travelers lost in the woods whom he'd led to safety, the injured animals he had nurtured back to health, and the saplings he had planted. "I am Boris," he murmured to himself, a deep growl vibrating through his chest as he fought against the bear's surge. "I am the protector of this land." Enveloped by his devotion and love for the forest, Boris's will proved mightier than the spirit within. The bear spirit, understanding Boris's sacrifice and strength, relented, bestowing its power to him without taking his entirety. With renewed vigor, Boris confronted the dark forces with the prowess only a spirit warrior could possess, standing as both man and bear. His eyes gleamed with determination and unwavering resolve. The battlefield succumbed to harmony as darkness was dispelled, the sacred bond between man and nature leaving an imprint deep within Boris's soul. In victory, Boris returned to the forest, his eyes reflecting the golden hues of the sun that peeked through the canopy. He stood among the trees he cherished, evermore the silent guardian, the anchor between the ethereal and the human. Thus, the legacy of Boris lived on, a beacon of hope to all who wandered into the woods seeking solace and protection. And so, with each gentle breeze that whispered through the leaves, the forest confirmed that Boris's humanity remained here, grounded and eternal. In the heart of the never-ending forest, where the trees whispered secrets both ancient and new, there lived a mighty bear named Boris. Boris was not an ordinary bear, he was known as the guardian of the forest. His coat was as dark as a moonless night, and his eyes gleamed like the brightest stars in the sky. Boris was wise and strong, with a heart full of kindness. Every creature in the forest, from the tiniest ants to the grand owls, respected Boris. He ensured everyone lived in harmony, and the forest flourished under his watchful gaze. But Boris was growing old. His once vigorous strides were now soft and deliberate, and his roar, though still powerful, was tinged with the weight of years. One chilly dawn, Boris ventured to his favorite spot by the crystal stream. Here, he pondered the tales of old and the future of the forest. He knew that a time would come when he would no longer be there to watch over his friends. But Boris was not afraid, for he believed in the cycle of life and the continuation of the legacy he had nurtured. The forest had to have a guardian. Someone strong, trustworthy, and who understood the delicate balance of nature must take Boris's place when his time came. As the sun painted the sky with hues of orange and pink, Boris let out a final roar. It echoed through the trees, resonating with every leaf and stone. It was a call, a summons for the next guardian to step forward. Not long after Boris's call, a young bear named Lily wandered into the clearing. She was playful and curious, with eyes full of wonder. The moment she heard Boris's roar, her paws tingled with a strange warmth. An unexplainable feeling filled her heart. Some of the older animals in the forest recognized the signs. Lily was the chosen one. Lily approached Boris with awe and respect. The wise bear gently bowed his head, and Lily understood the significance of the moment. Boris passed on his knowledge and love for the forest to Lily. The transition was seamless, a natural flow from one guardian to another. Even after Boris lay down to his eternal rest, his presence lingered in the forest. On windy nights, the sound of his roar could still be heard. It guided Lily and reminded all creatures of the might and wisdom that once protected their home. With each step Lily took, she remembered Boris's teachings. She played with the river otters, resolved disputes between the birds, and made sure the forest remained vibrant and alive. Lily didn't just fill Boris's footsteps, she created paths of her own. The story of Boris, and now Lily, was whispered from tree to tree, imparting a message of legacy and the ongoing cycle of life in the never-ending forest. Everyone knew that, like the seasons, a new guardian would always rise, keeping Boris's legacy alive forever. The wind continued to carry his roar, a gentle reminder that Boris, in spirit, would always be there to guide them. Once upon a time, in a beautiful kingdom, there was a mighty river named Linares. This river was famous for its enchanting beauty and the life it brought to the lands it touched. It cradled many towns and had provided them water, fish, and stories. One sunny morning, the townsfolk awoke to a peculiar sight. The river, usually calm and gentle, was now roaring and rampaging along its banks. Towns were flooded, and fear settled among the people. The once life-giving river had turned into a force of destruction. Boris, a wise and gentle old man, had lived his entire life near the river. He was known for his vast knowledge of nature and his uncanny ability to understand the language of the winds and waters. When he saw the devastation, he felt a whisper of sadness reach his heart. "The river is trying to speak," said Boris, "but we must listen closely to understand its sorrow." Gathering his courage, Boris decided to visit the center of Linares, hoping to discover the cause of its anger. With each step closer, he heard the river's voice grow louder, not in words but in feelings and echoes of the past. As night fell, Boris reached a place where the river's current seemed unusually still, as if waiting for him. There, in the darkness, he saw shimmering visions of the past. A forgotten cemetery, ancient and sacred, submerged deep beneath the river's surface. Years before, in an effort to modernize the kingdom, a grand dam had been built further upstream. The cemetery had been submerged and forgotten. The spirits of those laid to rest were no longer at peace, and their cries now echoed through the river's waters. Boris understood. "We have disturbed the rest of those long gone," he said softly. "The river mourns for them." He bowed his head, feeling the weight of the spirits grieving. In the silence of the night, he whispered prayers of peace, promising to make right what had been done wrong. Returning to the towns, Boris gathered the leaders and explained what needed to be done. "The spirits must be remembered and honored," he advised. "The dam will need modifications to allow the sacred grounds to breathe once more." With cooperation and understanding, the townsfolk began their work, reconnecting with their past. They built memorials along the riverbank, and ceremonies were held to honor those who were forgotten. The dam was adjusted, allowing the river to flow more naturally. Linares gradually calmed, its waters clear and gentle once again. The river resumed its role as the giver of life and stories, but now it was richer with wisdom shared between the living and the departed. Boris, with his heart at peace, spent the rest of his days by the river, listening to its endless tales and knowing that by remembering, the future stayed bright and harmonious. From then on, the kingdom thrived with a renewed respect for the land and its stories, never to forget that every stone and ripple had its own tale to tell.
If you like our stories, please like, subscribe, and turn on the little bell, so you won't miss exciting stories every day. You are also welcome to share it with family and friends to listen to the story together. Love you.